Hello and welcome to littleGasthaus, a German sausage maker. Today I will show you how to make your very own Mediterranean meatloaf using simple ingredients. First, let's talk about the versatility of the Mediterranean meatloaf. You have the freedom to get creative and choose your own filling. That can be pepperoni, zucchini, rosemary, everything goes in Mediterranean, like pizza or salad. You also can add parmesan to make it even more flavorful. However, if you prefer to follow a specific recipe, you can use mine as a guide. My recipe contains dried tomatoes, olives, Gouda cheese, and basil for a true Mediterranean taste. Okay, let's start. Let's talk about the spices. For every kilo of mass, you will need 20 gram nitrate curing salt, 3% cutting aid, or you can use 5 gram of mustard powder, 2 gram of onion powder, 2 gram of white pepper, 0.75 gram of mace, 0.5 gram of thyme, 1.5 gram of oregano, 1.5 gram of sweet paprika powder, 1 to 5 gram of cardamom, and another quarter gram of ginger powder. Make sure you have 1 kilo of base mixture. For that you will need 500 gram pork neck, 200 gram of pork back fat, 150 gram lean beef, another 150 gram crunch ice or ice snow, whatever you got. Pork, fat, and the beef. Okay, again. Fat. Grind meat using a 3mm plate. Repeat the process twice and freeze the meat slightly in between. I'm lazy, so I figure out you have to stir quite a bit, so you get a fine consistency and everything mixed the right way. So let's add the spices and give it a mix. Mix the spices well with the meat. I add some of the ice. And go ahead. More ice. More ice. Now it's time to add the inserts where you can get creative. You need about 30% extra insert of the mass. In my recipe I use 100 grams of Gouda cheese, 75 grams of dried tomatoes, 75 grams of olives. You have to watch out for the salt, not getting too salty, and 25 grams of fresh basil. Mix the ingredients with the meat mixture. And the cheese. baking time, of course, depends on the size of the mold, but as a general rule, it's 1 hour per kilo meat mixture. Alternative, you can measure the core temperature that has to be between 69 and 72 degrees Celsius. Let's talk about baking. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees and bake the meatloaf for 15 minutes. Then reduce the temperature to 120 degrees Celsius and continue baking. Temperature changed from 180 to 120 degrees Celsius. After baking, let the meatloaf rest or cool down for 10 minutes. It's easier to get out of the mold. Then careful remove it from the mold. Look at this, man. Juicy. And we give it a test. Well, I hope it's not too dark in here. Not too much light. Going to try a piece. You have to try this. Nothing compare, you know, so far. So, okay.